So Marvel drops a bombshell, basically cutting ties with Diamond and naming Penguin their distributor. But how does that really affect each one of us? Let's try to analyze it a little bit. Stick around. So welcome back, family. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't have all the information. I'm still trying to figure all this out myself. I've watched a lot of other people's videos. I'm capitalizing on a lot of people's others' information on this. And I'm just kind of going with my gut feelings on how I think it's going to affect everybody. So last year, DC cut ties with Diamond, and everybody thought, oh man, they're crazy to do this. And now Marvel does it, and everybody's like, oh, Marvel's so brave for doing it. You know what? I like Marvel more than DC too, but we can't have a double standard, okay? We just can't do that. It's kind of like saying, well, you know what? DC must be a Trump voter. They hated him right before from the start. So the announcement came out that Marvel is effective in October. Marvel is switching their distributor rights, I believe, for a 5-year agreement or a 10-year. You know, it's a long-term agreement with Penguin. And basically cutting ties with this, Diamond Distributors. Now, stores will still be able to get their books through Diamond, but now they're going to have to pay shipping because Diamond will basically be like a sub-distributor at that point. And here's where I did a little bit of fun research a little bit because, I mean, I know Steve Geppi, however he pronounced it. I always pronounced it Geppi since I was a kid. Since before he was a distributor, before there even was Diamond Distributors. Now, if you watched the other day, I was going through the 1982 price guide book that I picked up. And by the way, I told you this thing had dry. Yeah, I wasn't kidding. This is already starting to fall apart. And you know, it's funny because this kind of reminds me of how the book looked when I had it way back when. But this is how I remember Steve Geppi. Okay, he always had the best ads in these things too. It just fell apart again. And he picked the best places in the price guide right before all the books that were, you know, like they weren't for sale, but they were like, oh wow, check out all these cool titles. It was like the price guide showing you some of the books that are out there and some of the real old books, what we consider golden age now, and back then really weren't as old because this was 40 years ago. And the page right before, because they had the regular cardstock and yellow paperwork and news articles, and then bang, the first major ad was always Steve Geppi. Now at 4 great locations. Now, Steve Geppi, just to give you a little information, he started like in the 70s. He quit his job and told his friends, I'm going to distribute comic books. I'm going to sell comic books. And everybody thought he was crazy. And he saw there was an up-and-coming market for it. And he was actually a sub-distributor for somebody else. And in 1982, that company filed for bankruptcy. So what he did was he kind of stepped in and he took over in 1982. And the funny thing is, this is the 1982 price guide. So this was like the year that everything really happened. Geppi came in, and a lot of people, you know, his friends and families, like, well, you're taking over a company that's already proven that it fails. And he took it over and he built it into Diamond Distributors. Okay, this is the single largest distributor of comic books, or it was. But what happened, I mean, I never personally liked Geppi for some reason as a kid. I always just felt like he's got too much. You know, it was kind of like, I don't know. From what I heard through the industry, I never really got a positive vibe about the guy. Even when I was a kid, I heard that he was arrogant and he didn't treat his employees well. And I mean, I don't know this. This is all hearsay to me. So he might be the sweetest guy on the planet. I don't know. But just as a kid, I just didn't get a positive vibe. So I didn't really care. But now, the 2 biggest distributors of comics, which this would have hurt a lot more if it was back in the 80s or 90s. But the 2 biggest distributors have gone their own separate way. He still has a lot of other comic books to distribute. Okay, you got Boom and IDW and Image and Oh man, please don't kill me. I can't remember the names too well, but you know how many independent titles there are out there right now. There's still a lot of books that he can distribute. He can still distribute and become a sub-distributor again. So what does this mean for the comic shops? Well, a lot of comic shops are already not doing well. They haven't rebounded completely from COVID. If you can, people, please don't buy comics on eBay, the newest comics. Okay, I understand you're trying to find your best price, but you try to buy new issues. Set them up through pick lists through your local comic book shop and just pick them up. Help them stay afloat. Okay, because I don't want to lose this wonderful industry that we have. We got to get through COVID. We're all one big family. Oh, nah. And they can still set up through Diamond for their comic books. The only thing is now they have to pay shipping, which it depends upon how many books they buy. If they're, getting 10 of this and 10 of this and 10 of this, it's going to add 10, 15 cents per book. If they're buying hundreds, maybe it'll break down to 2 or 3 cents per book. It's going to cut into their profit margin, okay? So if the book price is, say, $3.99, if they put it in a bag and a board for you, which is another expense, and they put a price sticker on it at $4.25 or $4.50, will you support your store and buy it? I would. I personally would. Or what they can do is say, we're going to set up these books to come from Diamond because these are the ones that they're the main distributor for, and I don't have to pay shipping, and I'll buy these through Penguin. I'll buy these, the DC books from here. And I was watching one video earlier, and I cannot remember which video I saw it on. I'm sorry, I must have seen about 20 videos on this subject already. And he made it reminded me that this is how restaurants kind of have to work. A really good restaurant, they don't buy everything from one location. They may call up this butcher to get their meats, and they'll call up this vegetable market and order their vegetables, and they'll call up these places and order their napkins and forks and knives and whatever, and they'll call up this liquor distributor and order their wines. It's part of owning a business, and it's just another step that comic book stores are probably going to have to take. Do I think it's the death of the industry? No, I do not. I think that this is going to end the monopoly. Diamond held everybody for ransom basically when COVID hit. He just shut everybody down. Said, no, you know what? Until I feel comfortable, we're not going to print comic books. He didn't say we're going to press, or we're not going to distribute comic books. Didn't say we're going to run less or we're going to have a skeleton crew that'll send out and keep everybody socially distanced. He just, because bear in mind, he's been doing this for decades. Decades. He's got all the money he needs. Okay, his employees, he didn't care. Okay, they go collect your $600 a week plus unemployment. And now that they're back up to full strength, there are still people that he did not bring back. There are people that he let go, he laid off. Now, a lot of it is because they lost the business of DC, but there were no arrangements that were made. And I understand the world's in crisis, and anybody who's not in the comic book industry is going to be watching this going, people are dying and you're worried about comic books? We're worried about people's livelihoods. Okay, stores that close down, that will not ever get the capital to reopen. Okay, we're worried about people that sank their life investments in things, and now they don't, they lost everything. There was one comic book store, it wasn't even a, big one, but it was one store that was in the town that's closest to me. They're gone. They're gone. The town over, they opened the store, but they can't get any new comics. I literally have to travel 45 minutes each way to go to my local comic book store. So, that's why I picked the one that is closest to my job so I can get out of work and just go over there. Then it's only, say, 15 minutes, and then I get a nice 45-minute ride coming home. I would still love to go to Battlegrounds and say hi to my buddies up there, Shane and Dustin, but that's 50 minutes each way, and I just don't have the time. And if we don't support our comic book industry, our local comic book stores, all of these places are going to disappear. And we'll be buying everything online, and there'll be no interaction with each other. And, you know, I mean, that's kind of the fun. I mean, I can walk into a comic book store, buy my books, and be out of there in 5 minutes. I'm generally there for a half hour to 45 minutes because we're just talking about stuff. We are a family, guys, and we have to stick together. And, you know, if your local comic book store has a little bit of difficulty and has to maybe raise the price 5-10 cents or go to a slightly cheaper bag and a board because he's dealing with thousands of books every month, be understanding for it. That's all I ask, you know. I think I've rambled on long enough. All right, let's get to another thing here. If you haven't entered in, please do. 200 subscriber. The video for the 200 subscriber is where you would go for that. It's a 9.8. We only find them when they're dead, number one. You have to be a subscriber to the channel. You have to go to the video that is says 200 subscriber giveaway. I'm going to try to figure out how to make a link on this. I'm not technologically savvy. And you have to like that video and make a comment on the video. It's very simple. When I hit 200 subscribers, I'll close the voting. Or I put say this is it, and I will make a video with a randomization, and somebody's going to get that, and I pay for shipping. Also, if you see that video, you will see where I have my 300, 400, 500, 750, and 1,000 book giveaways listed in there and what they are. I think you'd be pleasantly surprised. But in the meantime, though, I want to thank everybody for joining me yet again. Don't forget to click like and subscribe and notifications and share. But like this video too, like every video, like them all. And as always, though, I'm out.